Have you ever wondered, does this person have feelings for me? Or are they just being nice? That question has probably crossed everyone's mind at some point. Romantic emotions aren't always easy to read. Sometimes they're as clear as day, but other times they're hidden behind polite smiles or casual conversations. So how can you really tell? Today we're exploring subtle signs that someone might secretly like you but isn't saying it out loud. Just a quick note before we begin. Spotting these signs doesn't guarantee anything. People are complex, and the best way to know what someone's feeling is through honest communication. Still, understanding the signals can help you avoid confusion, or worse, embarrassment. Let's start with one of the biggest giveaways. They pay you a lot of attention. Are they frequently calling or texting? Do they make plans with you, check in after you hang out, or even ask your friends how you're doing? That kind of consistent contact shows they've already built a connection. When someone really likes you, they'll make sure you know they're around. Their attention speaks louder than words, and more honestly, too. The key is to observe their actions with your eyes, not just your hopes. Next up is body language. Do they face you directly when you're talking? Are their gestures open and relaxed? And do they seem physically drawn to your presence? These small behaviors can signal something deeper. When someone lets down their physical guard around you, it's usually a sign of comfort, trust, and sometimes affection. But it's worth noting that shyness can create similar signals, so don't jump to conclusions too fast. Then there's eye contact. Have you caught them looking at you a little longer than usual? Do they smile more, laugh more, or just seem extra upbeat around you? Research from Harvard psychologist Zick Rubin found that couples in love make eye contact about 75% of the time during conversation, far more than average. So if someone's gaze lingers, or if they seem unusually cheerful when you're around, that could be a clue they're hoping to impress you or deepen your connection. These are just the first few signs, but they can reveal a lot if you know how to read them. What about you? Have you ever picked up on these kinds of behaviors from someone in your life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your experiences. Let's move on to another subtle but telling behavior. They do little things to show they care. Think about it. Do they check in after you've hung out, asking if you got home safely? Do they offer help before you even ask, or keep tabs on you through mutual friends? When someone genuinely cares about your well-being, it often means they're emotionally invested in you. Sure, close friends might do these things too, but if it feels like they're going out of their way just for you, it might be more than friendship. One more clue? They're curious, really curious, about you. They don't just ask what you're doing this weekend. They want to know what makes you tick, what you dream about, what shaped who you are today. When someone's hiding feelings, their questions often go deeper. It's not just polite small talk. They want to connect with your inner world. And interestingly, they may not even realize how much they're revealing about their own interest in you. This curiosity isn't always obvious. It can show up as small, repeated questions that encourage you to open up. Maybe they bring up things you said weeks ago, remembering every detail. That kind of attention to your words means they're listening with purpose. They're trying to understand you, not just on the surface, but at your core. Then there's affection and compliments. Have they ever praised your style, your music taste, or how you carry yourself? Compliments can be tricky. Some people are naturally generous with kind words, while others hold back. But if someone compliments you more than they do others, and especially if they seem nervous or excited while doing it, that could be a meaningful sign. They're trying to boost your confidence, and maybe even get your attention in return. Of course, not everyone expresses interest through words. Some people show it by making you feel safe and comfortable. They might not say much, but their presence, their patience, and the quiet ways they support you, those can be just as powerful. So it's important to notice not only what they say, but how they behave when you're around. At this point, you might be thinking of someone in your life who checks more than one of these boxes. If that's the case, it might be time to look a little closer. In the next section, we'll talk about how feelings can sometimes show up in the most unexpected ways, and why a person who seems awkward or distant might actually be hiding something deeper. Sometimes the most honest emotions show up in the most unexpected ways. Take awkwardness, for example. Have you ever noticed someone get a little clumsy or fumble with their words when you walk into the room? Maybe they suddenly go quiet, make weird jokes, or seem like they're trying too hard to act normal. It might seem like they're uninterested, but often, that nervous energy is a hidden sign of deeper feelings. People tend to act differently around someone they're emotionally drawn to. Dating expert Matthew Hussey points out that when someone likes you, their behavior shifts. You might notice their energy spike when you're around. They could become animated, overly eager, or even slightly tense. That change in energy, especially if it only happens when you're present, is a big clue. Then there's the classic move, showing off. This can take many forms, from suddenly becoming the funniest person in the room to flexing accomplishments or talking more loudly when you're nearby. It might seem like arrogance at first, but often, this behavior is driven by a desire to impress you. They're trying to stand out, to prove they're worth your attention. So how can you tell the difference between genuine interest and just a big ego? Focus on how they act around you specifically. Do they only do this when you're there? Do they glance over to see how you react? If the answer is yes, it could mean they're not just showing off to the world, they're showing off to you. Another interesting signal: how much they mirror your energy. Do they pick up on your phrases, laugh when you laugh, or mimic your gestures without even noticing? This subconscious mirroring is a psychological cue that someone is emotionally in sync with you, a subtle but powerful way the mind expresses connection. On top of that, they may start noticing and commenting on tiny things about you: the way you fix your hair, a phrase you use often, or a new item of clothing you wore just once. This kind of attention to detail usually comes from someone who's watching more closely than most. They're paying attention because, consciously or not, you matter to them. It's funny how feelings sneak out in moments we least expect. A nervous laugh, a shift in posture, an awkward goodbye that lingers just a little too long. These might seem like nothing until you start seeing the pattern. Coming up next, we'll explore how people use alone time to test emotional waters and why a person might keep finding reasons to hang out one-on-one, even if they never admit what they're feeling out loud. Have you ever had someone constantly suggest hanging out, just the two of you? Not in a big group, not as part of some planned event, but casually and repeatedly. That's no coincidence. One of the strongest signs someone may be hiding romantic feelings is their desire to spend time with you alone. Whether it's grabbing coffee, staying late after class, or inviting you to join them for a quick errand, these moments are often carefully chosen opportunities to build intimacy without directly saying, "I like you." People tend to create space for connection when they're emotionally invested. Spending one-on-one time allows for vulnerability. There are fewer distractions, fewer eyes, and a greater chance for genuine interaction. In these quiet moments, someone who's hiding their feelings might hope the setting itself will help things unfold naturally, maybe even spark something more. Of course, it's not always easy to tell if these moments are romantic or just friendly. That's why it's important to pay attention to the details. Do they seem more relaxed when it's just the two of you? Or do they act a little nervous, like they're walking a line they're afraid to cross? Sometimes it's not what they say, but what they don't say. A hesitation before a compliment, a pause before a question, a look that lingers too long but never becomes a confession. Another powerful indicator: how they behave after those moments together. Do they follow up to see how you felt about the experience? Do they bring it up later, trying to relive it through inside jokes or shared references? That's not just nostalgia. That's someone holding on to a memory because it meant something to them. Also, think about whether they find reasons to extend the time you spend together. Maybe a 5-minute conversation turns into an hour. Maybe they seem disappointed when the moment ends. If they consistently stretch the interaction, especially when there's no clear reason to, it may be their way of staying close without directly expressing their feelings. And then there are the subtle invitations. "You should come with me to this thing," or "I could use your help on something." These small asks often carry emotional weight. Even if the request seems casual, what they're really doing is creating a private space where something more can grow. So if you notice someone making extra effort to be around you, not just socially, but intentionally and repeatedly, there's a good chance they're testing the waters. They may be waiting for a signal that you feel the same. In our final section, we'll talk about what to do when you recognize these signs and how you can respond in a way that's honest, kind, and true to yourself. By now, maybe someone's already come to mind, someone whose attention feels just a little too focused, whose presence always seems just a little too intentional. You've seen the signs, the subtle glances, the quiet care, the moments they create to be near you. So what now? If you're picking up on multiple cues, the extra attention, the curiosity, the nervous energy, and the quiet efforts to be alone with you, there's a real chance this person is hiding deeper feelings. That doesn't mean they're ready to confess, or even that they fully understand their own emotions yet. Sometimes people hold back because they're afraid of rejection, of changing the dynamic, or of being misread. But emotions have a way of surfacing, even when we try to suppress them. So, if you suspect someone likes you, and you're interested too, the next step might be up to you. Try inviting them into a safe, casual space where feelings can unfold naturally. It doesn't have to be a grand confession. Maybe it's an invite to hang out just the two of you. Maybe it's a question like, have you ever thought about us differently? Sometimes, just opening the door a little is enough to help the other person step through. On the other hand, if you don't feel the same way, it's still important to handle the situation with empathy. Remember, it takes courage to care about someone quietly, and even more to risk being found out. If you can respond with honesty and kindness, you'll leave the relationship stronger, no matter what direction it goes. Ultimately, reading between the lines isn't about turning every smile into a signal or every kind gesture into a love confession. It's about staying aware, being honest with yourself, and treating others' emotions with care, even when they're unspoken. So what about you? Have you ever realized someone liked you after the fact? Or maybe you've been on the other side, hiding feelings and hoping they'd notice. Let us know in the comments below. Your story might help someone else feel a little less alone in figuring things out. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like the video and share it with anyone still wondering where they stand with someone special. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes what's not said speaks the loudest.